Okay, another cool demo of our AIPACK Pro Coder for production coding. So the last time what we did is we did this game with nice particle animations, and the way we did it is we did it the production way, which is rather than doing vibe coding, which is coding blind, and letting the AI structure all the code, we guided the AI code and refactored the code our way. Now, as a second step, what we would like to do is document all of these files into a doc summary MD. So, first, what we're going to do is do a cargo install AIPACK. For now, AIPACK is compiled from source with Rust. We have to install Rust, and we are going to work on the binaries soon, and for Windows support as well. So what we do is that it's going to compile everything. You're going to have a version above this one, and then the command line is AIP, and you're going to install the Pro. That is a namespace, coder, the AIPACK name. That is the new JC coder, which has been upgraded to Pro Coder with some very cool stuff. We press enter, and we're going to see that it's installing the Pro Coder in our home directory at pack and installed Pro Coder. So we can see the code. Now the real cool thing about this is that it's just 9 kilobytes, super small. Now we have to make sure we have our keys. The way that we check if we have our keys, we can do AIP check keys, and that will show us the keys we have in the environment. Obviously, it doesn't display the values, we just check if they have a value. We do this offline, and now if we do it again with AIP check keys, it shows that we have all our keys. Now that we have that, we can do AIP run pro at coder. That is the new coder, and we're going to run it. And what it gives us here is a coder prompt. And by convention, we put it into the AIPACK.prompt and the pro at coder. That is just a convention. The agent could have put it anywhere. Now the cool thing about that is, again, we have this parametric agent, which the prompt now can have parameters, and they are defined in a TOML code block. And then here's where we're going to control all our agent. We can even have model aliases. And then we have a write mode now into ProCoder. And here, for example, we're mapping it to the cheap one, which is for mini. Actually, we're going to use the fast for that demo. So the way it works is that we have this prompt file where we have the parametric on top, and then we have the answer at the bottom. Here, I just put the documentation at the beginning, and then we can ask any question. So for example, we can say, can you do a loop in Rust? And then you press R here. We have a command R to send the R to the terminal, and that will show us inline the Rust here. So far, so good. The reason why we didn't create any files, it's because we have the write mode to false. If we did write true, then the coder agent would take this path and create the file. So we're going to use this technique here now to create our documentation. And in fact, we're going to show some of the very cool power. So first of all, we're not going to have the context globs. Context globs is everything we put in the context inside the same prompt in a way. What we're going to do is use the working globs. And what we're going to say first is we want to go to the base directory, root, because we're going to put the doc folder at the base here. And then we're going to say, well, we want the working globs to be everything under web content. So we're going to do that. The key difference between the context globs and the working globs is working globs can be parallelized. And this is super powerful. So for example, here, we're going to do working concurrency equal true and input concurrency equals 6. So that will go 6 at a time. If you have 100 files or 1,000 files, 6 files will be processed in parallel until they are all processed. As long as you have your rate limit, this can go crazy. So now the cool thing is we're going to create files, and we are going to create a summary file per source files, and later we will consolidate them into one. So that is a write mode. We're going to use the Gemini 2 Flash. It's very fast and it's virtually free, basically. And now the trick here is what we're going to say in the prompt. And the prompt is going to be, can you summarize the working files? So we're telling the AI the working files. It will be only one pair request, actually, and save each file summary in doc.summary. By best practices, our dot is ignored in our git ignore. So this way, these are just temporary files. And then we give a name like that, and we explain to the AI what the file path and name will be. Basically, we normalize a path where we replace the slash by dash. Now we press R on this guy, and then boom, we see 6 at a time, and we didn't even edit the video here. This is a real speed. We already have all our summary. So we have all this summary of all the different files, so that is pretty cool. Now what we want is to consolidate those into one file. For that, we are going to go back to our parameters. Now we're going to use the context globs. So we're going to uncomment the context globs, and we're going to say that we want to take all of those files. So doc/summary-items, and we'll take all the files over there. And then those, we don't need those. Now we're going to comment this one because we don't need to work on working globs. Generally, you will start with context globs until you want to parallelize things. So now we have that, and we're going to go back down. We're going to keep our model fast. For that, Flash is good. The other one, when you start coding, the great one is the G Pro to G Mini 2.5 Pro. It's awesome. Otherwise, we have the Pro, which is Claude, also very good. So in this prompt, what we're going to do now is a prompt like that, which says, can you summarize your context files and normalize them and save the overall summary in doc/summary.md. Now we press save, run, and then boom, I put some information over there. Direction, force, second, the price is nothing. It's virtually free Flash. Here's some token. Here's the model that has been used, the adapters, the number of context files. So that is nice to be able to check what's going on. And here is the answer minus the file content. The file content has been extracted and put there. And now everything is working very nicely. Everything has been normalized and we have the doc. And that is pure power. Until next time, happy coding.